Okay, if you have access to a pull-up bar, then when it comes to lat exercising, lat conditioning, lat strengthening, your life is complete and you can want for nothing. However, if you are limited at the moment in quarantine, unable to access pull-up bars and the like, then you might want to invest in one of these. It's a resistance band, beg, steal, borrow, purloin, a gym in your pocket. You've heard me probably say before, here are a series of exercises where you can keep your lats in condition and keep them strong, keep them flexible, dynamic and mobilized for when you get access to a pull-up bar in the future. Number one is a straightforward cable pull, very similar to the motion of paddling. Take your band, anchor it off at about chest height and stick your hand through the band, and what you want is a bit of extension on the band before you start, so it's extending your arm out there and you're pulling through. So it's hip activation, core activation and pulling through the lats, but you need that tension on the fully extended point, so you're working against the resistance in both directions. When you're using that, don't forget to do both sides in terms of both sides, legs and right, and have both legs forward, alternate legs forwards as well, just to get that full range of motion on both sides. An alternative to that is to anchor the band a little bit higher up. In this case I'm using a local climbing frame, and once again different sort of pull, also working the lats, and in this case got that extension and we're pulling through again. Once again, hips, core and lats, anchoring off, so I'm pulling in a straight line, and you may have to just adjust your stance to get the right sort of tension for you. Okay, moving on. An exercise I call the wood chop and block. You're familiar with these cable pull sort of exercises, hands down with the band, a straight pull pretty much. That way it's going across the chest. Feel that in the lats on the right hand side. You can accentuate the pull by introducing a block there. So rather than the straight pull through, a little higher, it's going to work. Accentuate it by introducing what's essentially like an elbow block and then extending that range of motion. You really feel that. Same again the other side. Thumb down, so we can either do the straight cable pull as you're more familiar with, or introduce the block to accentuate the stretch. Okay then, lat pull down, lats pull down. A perennial exercise but different ways of doing it. Bear in mind you can do it overhand or you can do it underhand. You can also do a straight arm pull down. All good for the lats, but sort of know what you're trying to achieve. With the overhand grip, it's a crescent shape. Okay, we're going out to in. So from the side, it's that sort of motion there. Okay, if we're going underhand, it's more of a straight pull down, but try to avoid leaning back and pulling into your chest. There's a different way of extending that range of motion, and that is overhand, pull down towards the forehead, and then lean, tilt or rock. Okay, just to get that extension in the range of motion with the lats. The other one, straight arm pull down, a narrower grip, and as the name suggests, we're pulling straight down with the arms. All good for lats, but slightly different. So what I'm doing, I can either be standing or kneeling. I'll stand for this, that's the way the equipment is configured. Anchor off, in this case on a climbing frame. If I'm using a band, you have to take a bite out the band as we've done before. Here we've got a nice triangle position, obviously adjust it for your height. And the out to in, I'm tracking down. Okay, that crescent shape, out to in. If I'm doing underhand grip, it's more of a straight pull down, more than familiar, but like I say, avoid that leaning back, pulling to your chest. So you're working the lats and The rocking or tilting pull down before we move on to straight arm is once again out to in to there, and then just lead with one arm and continue that stretch to get more of a pull through the lats. And you can also achieve that by, if you're sitting on a bench or kneeling, offsetting your body to achieve the same thing. In this case I've got the frame slightly in the way, so you need to obviously adjust to suit the equipment. But there you go. Crescent in, out to in, straighter pull with the underhand, or bring it down to the forehead or thereabouts and then lead. And like I say, you can feel the pull in your lats. It's slightly different on each of those. Moving on from that, the straight arm pull down, not the same thing, but still a lat exercise. Straight arm pull down, once again, take a bite and the grip is narrower. Okay, so I've got a bit of slack in the band in this case, and it is, as the name suggests, a straight arm pull down. Narrower grip. In this case I'm going shoulders, still feel it in the lats and the shoulders generally, but bearing in mind the lat pull down is a wider grip and the track is different. Okay, all good. Okay, face pulls, not strictly a lat exercise, more trapezius, rhomboids and shoulders, but when we're doing face pulls, remember we're going from high to low and we're externally rotating, and the hands lead, the elbows don't lead, okay? So once again, get a grip on the band, nicely anchored off, and then we're rotating from this position, pulling towards our face, but the hands are leading to the outside. Okay, people say necessity is the mother of invention. The last exercise I'm going to do here is the inverted row. I'm using a children's climbing frame, so obviously I've waited till the kids have gone home. And get myself a nice anchoring position, and then pulling up to the bar, chest to bar, or where in this case the bar would be. Point to note on the upright row, or the inverted row rather, is the more horizontal you are pulling up from, the more resistance, the more force you need, the more inclined your body is, the less resistance, so add inclination to taste.